Today we're going to talk about the anatomy of the chorister. With this presentation, I hope to go over three commonly mistaken parts of the body that are commonly referred to in choir rehearsal. Let's get started. Like I said, there are three major parts. The first that we will focus on is the diaphragm. Next, we'll focus on the vocal folds, and then the larynx. For many of you, these are terms that you've never ever heard before, so I understand if you've got a little bit of confusion. Don't worry, we'll clear it up here in a moment. First, let's talk about the diaphragm. The diaphragm is closely related to the lungs. It's a muscle that's located right below them. The diaphragm is what allows the lungs to expand and contract. When the diaphragm contracts or gets smaller, it allows the lungs to open up, causing inhalation. When the diaphragm relaxes, it causes the lungs to contract, which lets out the air. When you're breathing through your diaphragm, it's important to notice that your belly is expanding. The diaphragm is actually located a lot lower in the body than people realize. A common misconception is that when taking a deep breath, your shoulders and chest will expand. This is wrong. Your shoulders and chest should remain absolutely still while your belly is expanding. The next part we'll talk about is the vocal folds. These are commonly referred to as vocal cords. However, they're not quite cords. They're actually two folds of tissue that are located in your throat. When breath comes from your lungs through your throat, the vocal folds are subjected to that breath, which causes them to vibrate and produce sound. The vocal folds are located inside the larynx, which is the final part that we will talk about. The larynx is also located in your throat and is commonly referred to as the voice box. The larynx houses the vocal folds, as well as many other parts that are imperative to the function of your voice. It is made of bone and cartilage in your neck. If you touch your neck, you can feel the larynx. If you have too much tension in your voice, you will notice that your larynx is sitting high in your throat. When it's relaxed, it will sit low. Here are some things that I want you to experiment with on your own. Do some breathing exercises with your hands on your belly to feel your diaphragm. An activity I like to do is lay on your back and place a book or something heavy on your belly. Every time you inhale, that book should raise up with your belly. As far as vocal folds, do something and Google a laryngoscope. Kind of a strange word, but if you break it down, it's a scope that looks at your larynx. Trust me, you'll be very fascinated with what you find. The last thing I want you to do is experiment with the idea of high and low larynx. Do some singing on your own and experiment with tension and relaxation in your voice. Notice that when it's tense, your larynx will sit high. You should never sing like this in a choral rehearsal. Your larynx should always be relaxed so that it sits low in your neck. Please feel free to ask me any questions the next time that you're in rehearsal. Thanks.